Drinhozo, Chauchet, Sandy Silver, Dawson City, Klondike, Trondheim, Tuchae. My name is Sandy Silver, and I come from Dawson City in the traditional territory of the Trondheim First Nation. It's great to be here sharing the stage with what I consider my family here, my good friends here, PJ and Caroline. I want to thank the chairman for starting us off today, and the Prime Minister for welcoming us and having us here in Greenland. And I want to say how great it has been to be here and to be traveling again. In the last few years, Yukon has seen a lot of challenges like other places on the earth, and as we meet and have conversations with people around the circumpolar area, shared issues over the pandemic for the last few years. So it's good to be here and to maybe showcase Yukon's position, hopefully post-pandemic. We have emerged in a good position. We've had excellent partnerships with Canada and also with our First Nation governments, keeping people safe and making sure that people were taken care of during the pandemic restrictions as well. We owe a lot to the chiefs of the First Nations that are in our territory and the conversations that we've had pre-pandemic to help us communicate science and technology in a time where everybody was really scratching their heads and not knowing what's going to come back in 2020. We were able to provide business supports during the pandemic, keeping the worst of shutdowns to a minimal. We maintain a high level of mineral exploration in the territory, working with First Nations as well, and declaring the mining that we were doing as essential helped our GDP, helped people to thrive during some of the worst conditions. We maintained the lowest unemployment rates in Canada at that time, and we continue to as well right now. With our geographical location close to Alaska, we have had challenges with travel and making sure that people got across borders safely and to where they needed to be. And we're starting to see new movement here, new recoveries through tourism, and more people are traveling back and forth with our brothers and sisters in Alaska, which is really great to see as well. In June, we held a conference in Whitehorse with the Nordic ambassadors to Canada, and we committed half a day to speaking to the leaders in discussions of a broad bunch of different issues from security situations, infrastructure, climate change, and social services. The three of us have been talking with federal counterparts as well, trying to explain the differences between sovereignty, national security, Arctic security. Sometimes those conversations have to be reiterated time and time again. So I'm very glad to be able to come here and to continue that dialogue. And I can say that despite the changes in the geopolitical order, the conflicts that we're seeing here internationally, the conversations in the Arctic, they're not stopping, they're actually thriving. And we here today, it's extremely important to see, from small jurisdictions to larger jurisdictions in the circumpolar area, having these conversations with ambassadors, with citizens. The cooperation that we're seeing in the north is way higher now than it was pre-pandemic, in my humble point of view. As circumpolar leaders, we must foster peaceful, cooperative conditions that are necessary to support economic development in the north. This will support our people and it will strengthen our communities. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but nothing about us without us is extremely important in Canada. Our current Governor General of Canada, Mary Simon, was one of the architects of the Pan-Canadian framework that my colleagues have spoken about. And in her foreword in that document, that's exactly the message that was given. So in Canada, premiers all agree that in addition to the hard security moves that the federal government can take, strengthening communities in the north, making them more resilient, is absolutely the foundation of a secure nation. The path to stronger security must reflect the needs of the Northerners and be supported by new and continued investments, long-term investments across the region. And we're not talking about necessarily military. We're talking about health. We're talking about education. This is what makes us thrive. We want to make sure that we have energy security, climate security, housing and food securities as well. It's not a new concept to anybody in this room, that's for sure, but the context surrounding the issues has shifted vastly in the last few months. And now the world, well, they're all looking at us right now. I think that there's many areas of common concern with countries gathered here today. We are acutely aware of the dangers of climate change and how it's impacting our communities and infrastructure. My community of Dawson City is built on a frozen mudflat, and it is melting. So as we build for the future, it's not about just replacing buildings, it's about replacing them better, and that's more expensive. We want to make sure that we have an educated and resilient workforce, whether that's in healthcare or in mining or in tourism, entrepreneurship, you name it. It's every single sector. We want to see our communities thrive, and we want to support clean energy transition and make sure that we have people that are healthy in our environments. Extremely important. So these are the points that I've been pitching here as I've been here in the conference. Just wanted to give you a little background of where we are in a territory, and I'll keep it at that for now, and hopefully we can have some questions and answers here. But very grateful to be here today, and thank you very much. Masi Cho.